Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I forgot to film an intro to this video this morning. So this is at the very end of the night. You can see what the foundation looks like after 9 hours. But we are on day 4 of foundation week. If this is the first time to my channel or the first time to this week, I am reviewing foundations this week that have been highly requested by y'all, but that I had no intention of buying in the full size due to alcohol, fragrance, or a combination of both. So today we are going to be reviewing the Lancome Skin Feels Good foundation. So if you want to see how this works for me and my skin, then just keep on watching. Okay, so like you heard in the intro, we are going to be talking about the Lancome Skin Feels Good foundation. Now, this was the one that I was the most excited about trying and the most bummed about when it first came out, because literally everyone that put it on YouTube looked flawless and it looked right up my alley. It had a radiant finish, supposed to have skincare ingredients in it. I was super excited about it. Look at the ingredients, and I will say that I feel like out of all the ones I'm going to talk about this week, this is the lesser of all the evils because there is no alcohol and the fragrance is the very last ingredient. So keep that in mind. It's still there, but it's super way down. And the so-called skincare ingredients, the hyaluronic acid, moringa seed extract, if I look at the ingredient, the rose gallica flower extract is the 7th ingredient. So it's a little bit higher up than some of the other ones. Or other foundations that claim they have all the skincare. I'm not saying that you're actually going to get the results that they're claiming, but I am saying it's a little bit higher up. It is pretty heavy in dimethicones, and again, fragrance is the very last. It does have an SPF of 23, and that is octinoxata, and it's only 3%, which please do not rely on any foundation to be your sunscreen, period, but certainly something that only has 3% of one sunscreen ingredient. If I believe I'm remembering correctly, because I only use physical sunscreens, in order for it to actually protect you like they say they do, it needs to be a minimum of 10% zinc oxide and 5% titanium dioxide. I hope I'm right in that, but I know for a fact that 3% sunscreen is not going to cut it. So please don't rely on that SPF 23. It has, okay, so I counted 10 shades on the Sephora website, but then when I look in the description, it says that it has 11 shades. So I don't know if they've taken one away or if that's a typo. I'm going to go with 10 because that's what's offered on the website. I'm sure that this is also available at like any department stores. Lancome is pretty widely sold, so you shouldn't have an issue finding it. And it is 1.08 ounces and it retails for $35. It is in the same packaging as the YSL that we've talked about, as the Becca that we've talked about. It is that tube packaging with a pump. Now, obviously, I don't have the full size, so I can't show you that, but I will put a picture like I have been throughout the week. So this says that it is a radiant finish and that it is for, again, all skin types. Oh, it might be one of my biggest pet peeves when reading all these claims. So it looks to have cool, neutral, and warm undertones within those whopping 10 shades. And I got the color 25W Soft Beige, which says it's for light to medium skin with warm yellow undertones. It has 1,000 reviews with 4.5 stars. Claims that it is a light coverage, again with radiant finish. So let's see if there's any specific instructions on how to use it. Yeah. It says for the perfect base, use their serum. Not going to do that. Says to use fingertips. For more coverage, build the product on trouble spots. So we're going to start with fingertips. For my other days that I've tried this, I've used a brush. Let's go ahead. This is the color 25W. So I've used about half of this pot so far. This is another one of those gel-like foundations, similar to the YSL. Okay, just gonna use my fingertips. This is my least favorite way to apply a foundation, honestly, but if they say it's the best way, then I'm gonna at least try it. I can already tell I don't like it with fingertips. So with all of its claims, it should be I just don't like it with fingertips. I've got all of this product on my hands now, which to me is a huge waste of product. So I'm just going to go in with my brush and kind of stipple that in. Plus it's very streaky with fingertips. So again, upon first look at the claims, it sounds like it is right up my alley. I like a light coverage foundation. I like a radiant finish. Natural is my favorite, but I'll take radiant too. Feels good on the skin. So it was a little bit cooling, but I've seen some people go on and on and on about how it's the best feeling foundation they've ever put on their skin. I am not gonna lie and say that's true. It's just not. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it, but it's not like this ingenious feeling product on my skin. It is very lightweight and seemingly skin-like upon first application. So this is the side without foundation. This is the side with. So it's a little bit lighter than down here, but I can, you know, fix that with bronzer. And it was, I feel like we looked at the next shade up and it was super dark. So, you know, that's what happens when you only have 10 shades. It's kind of hit or miss. Let's do the other side. I mean, when I'm first applying it with my fingertips like this, it is cooling. Don't get me wrong. It's cooling. But it's not like groundbreaking. It is honestly a little bit harder to blend out. Like some streakage with my fingertips, with a brush. I'm going to go back over with a sponge, which just visibly picked up quite a bit of product. Yeah, so it's not the easiest one to blend out, honestly. I've tried fingertips, brush, and now Beauty Blender, and it's just something that I have to keep working on. So it's not one just from now that I would pick for like quick days, because I do feel like I just had to put a little bit more time into it. So again, I feel like it is more skin-like than the Becca for sure and the Dior for sure. But I think maybe the YSL looked a little bit better on my skin than this did upon first application. You can tell it's a light coverage for sure because I can still see my redness, but I don't mind that. My nose is itching. It does look heavy on the forehead a little bit. So that is it. Pores look pretty normal. Doesn't look like it's caking up around there. I will need to do some super bronzing of the face because just in the viewfinder it looks really white. But I will finish up with everything else and I will be back to show you what it looks like with everything else on, and then we'll be back at the end of the day for a check-in. Okay, so we are back. I have finished my makeup. I did use a cream bronzer today because I just felt like it was just a little bit light. I needed to tie it in a little bit more with the rest of my body. And other than that, everything went on pretty good. I did not talk about I just totally forgot to talk about the finish. I mean, y'all saw what it looked like. But I do find that even though it says it's a radiant finish, I find that the YSL was a little bit more luminous than this was. We will see how it wears throughout the day, if it gets a lot more luminous throughout the day. But as a whole, I felt like upon first application, the YSL was a little bit more luminous. So nothing really to see. My pores are a little bit more evident once everything's on. But again, everything went on fairly well. Nothing really to speak of. So we're just going to go on throughout the day. Lots of stuff to do, but I'm also working out, so we will see how it holds up through that. And I will be back later on to tell you how it wore. It is currently 11 o'clock, so we'll give it a good at least 9-hour wear to let you know. All right, so we are back for our final check-in. It is a little over 9 hours after, I've got a hair, sorry, after I left you last. So it is a good solid time frame to test the foundation. As always, I'm going to look in the mirror and see what I want to talk about. Okay. Let's do the zoom in. I know I zoom in probably way too much, y'all. I'm sorry. So we've got this normal sinkage into the smile lines. We have normal wear and tear on the forehead. A little bit more on this side than this side. wearing off right here, but in all honesty, my youngest did have a little crying fit tonight, and she was hugging me on this side, so that could be it. I felt like it looked kind of cakey on the chin. I don't know if that's going to come across on camera, but really and truly right under the lip is the worst. But then it kind of comes down just a little bit on the chin to where it just looks a little cakey. And then on the side of the nose, I felt like it looked a little bit cakey. But other than that, you know, I mean, it's normal cake on the pores. But, you know, normal day. So this is going to be really quick because here are my thoughts on this foundation. I think it is very similar to the YSL All-in-One Glow. I don't think it's as good. I don't like it as much, and I can't really pinpoint why. I just know that, you know, when you pass by a mirror during the day and you kind of look at yourself, sometimes you're really feeling your foundation and you're like, oh, pass by a mirror, look, my foundation looks great. And then other times you're like, yeah, something's kind of off. That's how I felt today. Like, I just felt like it was kind of off. And the other days that I wore it, because I've worn this twice before now. I just kind of felt like something was off. It almost looked upon first glance like it was patchy, even though it's not. So I don't know if the color's off or what. I just wasn't feeling it. But aside from that, I do think that a lot of the wear on it, despite it being a little bit more cakey than the YSL, the initial application, the initial finish, I do find that it's very similar. My final point is that this is a great example as to why we don't need every foundation that launches, because I feel like there's only so many different kinds of foundation that can be produced, and we probably pretty much hit that cap. So whatever's coming out next is probably something very similar to something that's already come out. And this is the case for the YSL and the Lancome today and the Bare Minerals. And the Bare Minerals is still my favorite out of all of them that I've talked about, but it's just the similarities between them don't warrant buying this if you have the Bare Minerals or the YSL. It's just too similar and a little lower on the like range for me. So again, I'm not going to be very helpful as to why I'm not in love with it. I'm just not in love with it. As far as like skin types, I do think that really normal to dry skin type is going to benefit the most from this. I don't think that if you're combo to oily, you can't wear it. I just think it's going to wear off a little bit quicker, and it is definitely has that more like radiant luminous finish. So it's just something to keep in mind. I know a lot of people that are oily don't like that. Some people do. So just something to keep in mind. So I think that pretty much covers it. Sorry, I feel like all these are the same. The next foundation the last foundation I'm going to do is going to be quite different than all of these. So be sure and like and subscribe before you leave so you don't miss out on that video, which will be coming up tomorrow for day 5 of my foundation week. And as always, thank y'all so much for watching, and I hope you all go out and have a very blessed day.